Welcome to Marukyu, the world's best scientific bait company. I believe that Marukyu baits are the very, very best in the world. But to achieve consistent results, we still need to know how to use these baits. This section is about how to use our EFG ground baits. We've actually got 9 EFG ground baits. It means explosive Formula Groundbaits. The great thing is they're very, very simple to use, and this is how you're going to get the best out of them. All we've got to do is look on the back of the pack, and of course it's got a water to product mix ratio. This will give you an average mix. This is your starting point. So it's very, very simple, all in self-sealed bags. The first thing, only mix what you need. How often have you mixed a whole bag of ground bait only to throw half of it away? The reason you've mixed it, you daren't run out because you couldn't replicate or duplicate the mix. Within 3 minutes, I shall show you that you can get exactly the same mix as you had before. So we're in a self-sealed bag. Instructions are on the back. I'm actually going to do this demonstration in a small mixing bowl, which is the worst example you could possibly use. I'm sure most of you go out and use a much bigger bowl, but if it works in this, you can imagine it's going to work brilliantly in a big bowl. It says on the back what to mix. They're all slightly different. This one is 2.5 to 1. So we do what it says. 1, 2, half, 2.5 products to 1 part water. Okay, simple as that. We put it in. We swish it around. Try to get as much air into the product as you can. As I say, I'd expect you to be using a larger bowl, but this is a great example of why these baits are so good and why they're called explosive Formula ground baits. Simple as that. It says on the back of the pack, rest it for 5 minutes. I've rested it for 5 minutes. As you can see, there it is. It's nice and fluffy. Just move it around. But how is it going to work for us? It says on the back of the packet, we can ball it in, we can pot it in, we can use it in a feeder, we can use it on a method. Simplest way I can show you is on a feeder. Just get your feeder and fill it up with bait, just like you'd normally do. Absolutely nothing special about it. But there is one thing. You've noticed I have not put this through a maggot riddle. I don't carry a riddle, and I'm sure most of you don't. So why bother with one? Because you don't need it. I've filled the feeder up, I've squeezed it in. This particular mix, it tells you on the back, it's a fast breakdown speed. Okay, it's sticky, we cast it out, it hits the water, it falls to the bottom. Okay, if we look at it, fast breakdown speed, 3 feet of water, 4 feet of water, there we are. You've got to agree this is the most fastest acting bait you're ever going to see. But it's not just that. When we want to attract fish, we can do it by 3 ways. First of all, we could throw pebbles in the water. It'd certainly attract a few fish. But then the visual effect comes in. So if we have a dead bait, it's not very attractive. Then of course, we've got the attractants going out. Me and you, we can smell, but a fish can't. The equivalent of a smell to a fish is taste. And it has to taste this bait by the water molecules that are out there with the attractants and the key amino acids in. And that's what draw these fish in so quickly. And here we can see now it's at the bottom. There is absolutely no way you're ever going to draw back out with a bait, with a feeder that's full of bait. That's why it's so good. I also mentioned you didn't need a riddle. If we look in this bait, we're going to see an odd large particle. But don't worry about the odd large particle, because if I squeeze a few together, I've got quite a big large particle. But watch what happens when I drop it in. It's not even got to the bottom and it's broke up. So do not be concerned about these large particles. They're there for a reason. By the time it hits the bottom, they've gone anyway. So we've no need to riddle, which means we don't throw anything away. We mix exactly what we want, so there's no wastage. We can use a smaller feeder than we've ever used before because of the way the attractants work. It is very, very powerful. So all of these baits, not only do they catch fish, they are very, very cost effective. I actually mentioned that we could ball this stuff in. Quite interesting here. I'm still in total control. I've squeezed this ball pretty hard. Let's imagine the swim's 4, 5, 6 foot deep. It's summer, it's warm. I wanted to get it down on the bottom, but I want it to work. So I've given this quite a good squeeze, and this is at the ratio that it said on the packet. Let's have a look what happens. Right, 5 foot deep, it's still falling down. It's just about at the bottom. There we go. And I've squeezed this ball pretty hard. You can see that it would only need one fish down there moving around, and that ball is spread. But that's how versatile this bait is.